Bert Oliva's Mastermind Circle.
Hello, everyone. How you doing? How's everything? Well, first of all, let me start by saying welcome. Welcome to all the new Mastermind members, and I also want to welcome all the guests. I'm really excited about today's show. It's going to be really amazing. My name is Bert Oliva. Before I get started, one of the things I like to do is share a video with you that tells you a little bit more about who I am. I've been doing this for over 21 years at a professional level. Also, we make sure to ask your questions. When you ask your questions, make sure that you say live. We want to make sure we get you guys live when we're ready to ask questions for Mario, that you guys come on live. So you guys ready? Here we go.
Bert Oliva is an international orator. He speaks around the world about his experiences and teaches humanology, the scientific study of human potential. He has enchanted audiences all over the world, showing them the power of mind over matter.
He's one of the most talented speakers out here, and I highly recommend him to any type of.
The more prepared you are, the luckier you'll be.
He is the world-renowned authority on leadership and human behavior.
Mr. Bert Oliva.
Bert Oliva!
He's considered the voice of inspiration and motivation. Today, he'll pass his knowledge on to all of us.
For over 2 decades, Bert Oliva has touched the lives of hundreds of thousands of people. Bert has a dedicated social media following and an impressive online influence few possess, enabling him to communicate with audiences he has touched near and far.
I think he's one of the greatest motivators out there.
The thing I love about Bert is he's on stage and he gives his heart every single time.
He has developed many programs, recorded audio CDs, and written books, all of which to help those ranging from individuals to corporate and Fortune 500 companies. He has dedicated his life to speaking all over the globe and met some of the most influential and powerful people in the world.
Okay, let's go.
He has also coached highly successful business executives and politicians.
Normally seen as impossible.
I believed it and I did it.
An infectious motivator.
So get ready to learn tools that will help you tap into your potential.
Pay attention, this is real stuff.
Get ready to have an experience you won't soon forget. Please help me welcome Bert Oliva.
All right, guys. I know that you are excited, but before we get started, let me tell you a little bit more of my friend, Mario Armstrong. And this is important. I want to be able to tell you something that people don't realize, the power of social media. We met several years back. I mean, we're going to get into the story and everything. However, I met this guy over the internet, and one day he was doing a stop by in South Florida, and I went to the airport to meet up with him. And then next thing you know, I've actually seen him 2 times after that. You know, I actually went to Baltimore and we did a pit stop, and he went to see us, and we built a strong bond. And I support him 100% in his dream and his ventures and what it is that he's doing. And this is one of the reasons I asked him to be here, is because he's making it happen. He's the real deal. And for those of you that are members, make sure that you save your questions, because you will have an opportunity to actually talk to him live today. So let me give you a little bio on who Mario is before I bring him in.
Mario Armstrong is an Emmy Award-winning talk show host, digital lifestyle expert, and a regular contributor on NBC's Today Show, CNN, and NPR. As the founder of the Never Settle Club, Mario gets to follow his other passion, using technology to inspire people to live their best life. With infectious energy, practical advice, boundless creativity, and a real-world and amazingly supportive approach, Mario has created what he modestly refers to as the best club in the universe. So let's welcome Mario Armstrong.
Mario.
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, there you go.
At the last second, I was like, Bert is setting this thing up. I have no water. I got nothing to drink, and I feel like we're about to go in strong. I better get
strong. We're gonna do.
I better get some H2O really quick.
Let me tell you something. Not only when we're done with this, we have a team that will edit it, and then you'll have it edited in a couple days, and it's really like a summary of your life. And then we'll come back 5 years from now and see, you know, and do another interview, and then go back and say, "Wow, you remember that interview?"
Yeah.
These interviews are not just to the rah type of thing. This interview is really to find out that if you are doing it and you're making it happen, I want to know the process. You know, I have my phone here too. You see, I'm ready for it. You see, look, I got to make it.
Yours is better. You got a logo. Hold on. You got a logo on yours. Wait a minute. You got. That's not fair, dude. I'm trying to find one with a logo on it. I can't find it fast enough. It's all the way upstairs.
All right. Well, let's get started. Tell us exactly where Mario came from, or the beginnings. I know you have a brother, but I want you to give us some feedback on that.
Yeah, I mean, the beginning as grew up in a small household. Rod and Gloria Armstrong are my parents, and my dad is the type of guy that's he's like an entrepreneur to the house. Like, this is the guy that was throwing Zig Ziglar books at me. He was throwing Death of a Salesman. He was just like throwing all these like kind of inspirational books that he was reading because he was in the financial advisement business. And you kind of need that because you're dealing with a lot of cold calling. You're dealing with a lot of sales. You're trying to handle somebody's money or their investments. And he was kind of like always that hustling motivator kind of guy. Plus, he was a guy that went bankrupt pursuing his own passion. Like, I'll never forget being about maybe 8 or 9 years old, and not going to the recording studio to hang out with Dad on the weekends anymore. That became like a thing to do because that's when the band and his group, he was an artist management company. Ernie and Donaldson was the name of the company. And they were trying to basically create a Motown in Baltimore. And they were very, very close. They traveled to Tokyo. They traveled to Switzerland. They really did good international, but never really had that one breakout hit that would bring them immense attention in the States. My mother is a school teacher and has always been an educator. I mean, to this day, she still corrects my grammar. And, my mom has always been like that support and was there for us when we had to do homework and all of that stuff. Dad was hustling quite a bit. So I was used to that. But he was a great dad. He was always there. We would hang out with him like all the time whenever he was home. And seeing him go bankrupt, not understanding it, of course, at that age, but seeing him go through that and just watching like how the car would break down and how we would be down to like one car in the family. And now looking back on that, like seeing how many times we were just eating peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, but not knowing as a kid that there was anything different, right? Like they did everything to make our life seem so normal, even though it was ridiculously chaotic and really scary. And, when you go through bankruptcy too, that wipes your record for a good amount of years. And you have to really be diligent and committed to build that back up. And he did. And then watching him kind of like dig out of that, to then have a vision board with a dream house that has a pool in the backyard and just see him like hustle and make a move to this house, but it really wasn't the house. Make a move to this property, but it really wasn't the property. And then to actually finally see him by the time we hit college, actually do it, we're like, wow, like it kind of brought the whole 20 some years like home, you know what I mean? So that's kind of like my upbringing. My grandmother was the founder of the Baltimore School of the Arts. So we have like music in our vein and music in our blood. And I DJ on Periscope sometimes and on live streaming. But that's kind of like the upbringing and kind of where that energy, I guess, really comes from. And that ability to see firsthand what it's like to really get knocked down and also see what it's like to just keep getting back up.
So as soon as you left school, what was it that you wanted to do when you grew up? What was your dream?
Man, my dream has always been, I like to talk. I just put it out there. I just love to talk. I love people and I love to talk. So my dream was always TV. Like I always saw myself in some way, shape, or form doing something in mass media. To me, television. Radio is fine. I did a lot of stuff in radio, but to me, the sites were, I got to get on TV. I want to do something big on TV.
Even though your father was more into music and audio, television?
Yeah, I still went after television. And I'll never forget, there comes a time sometimes when you're sitting down and you're looking at crossroads in your life and you're making these major decision points. And at those times, you're thinking, do I go left? Do I go right? Do I create my own path and go right down the middle? Like, where do I actually go? And I'll never forget sitting down with my dad at lunch. He kind of called these meetings. You almost felt like they were like mafia meetings. You almost felt like you were in trouble. Like you're like, you're in your 20s. You're like doing your own thing. You're your own man. And you get this phone call, and he's like, you know, let's meet for lunch. And it's like, I call my brother immediately. I'm like, Dad wants to meet for lunch. Dad wants to meet. And he's like, oh, no, not lunch, not lunch. I'm like, yeah, man, somebody's head's about to be on a platter. It's going to be mine. Like, what's going on? So I go and sit down with Dad, and we start looking at, where do you really, okay, you say you want to do this TV thing, but how are you going to do that where you are now? What are the next steps that you really can take now to make that happen? Is that a viable career for you? And if not, like, what's your plan B or plan C? What are some other options? And that's when we started actually talking about this industry back then that was really starting to build up. This is, I don't know, 90s something. And no, this is like close to 2000 maybe. And we were just like, technology and the internet is just hot. And he was like, why don't you figure out if there's a way that you can do communication around technology? So basically marrying the two disciplines together. And sure enough, you know, like years later, that's what I ended up doing.
Is that where you got your idea in 1999 to start a show, the radio show? Is that where it all started?
Yeah, it was about 98. And it actually started when we were sitting on a beach in St. Thomas. My wife is from the Caribbean. She was born in Baltimore, but basically raised in the Caribbean. Her mother is Puerto Rican. Her dad is black. So beautiful mix, but nonetheless, and beautiful spirit. But nonetheless, I'm looking at a newspaper. Yes, a newspaper. It was 1998, so don't get on me. It was a newspaper, and the newspaper had an ad. It said, host your own radio show. And I was like, oh, when I get back to Baltimore, I'm calling this radio station. I'm getting a radio show. And my new wife was just like, okay, but just don't quit your day job. Like we just got married, like chill out. And so I was like, okay, cool. So I come back, I call the radio station, and it's a small little AM radio station. They say, come on down. We don't have any computer talk shows or anything like that. So I come and meet with them. And of course, what I find out when I get there is that you got to pay for the airtime. Had I known that, I probably would have never gone. But I found that out then, and I said, you know what? I got to go get sponsors. And so I went and hustled to get sponsors to cover the cost of doing this weekly, once a week, half-an-hour talk show on a little AM station that you probably could only hear across the street. Like the wattage from that antenna.
Digital spin? Is that what it was? Digital spin?
The digital spin. Yep. That's where. So it started on radio, man, in Annapolis, and I would hustle my butt off. Like the store, you know, I worked a 9 to 5. So my path to success, and the thing that I usually try to tell people is try to do your hustle on the side while you're getting a full-time check. If you can't work in the place that you really want to be in, like if you don't have a job in your passion or in the industry that you're super passionate about, and you're working a different job for a different skill set and you're getting paid for that, but you have a different passion and a different hustle, it's much easier for you to eventually get over there if you have income coming in. It may take a little bit longer, but trust me, it is going to be so much easier for the transition in your life to make that happen than to just try to like jump off a cliff and hope wings grow on the way down.
Yeah, I love that you're saying that, because in our industry, a lot of the speakers, they tell you just, you know, jump off the cliff. And in today's world, that's not the way to do it.
Yeah, right?
Right. You know, it's this whole, I love what you're saying. You know,
yeah,
so
I get the psychology of like, get past being stuck.
Right.
So I get that, like, some people just do need that push, but not at the expense of it's all going to work out if I'm doing what I love. No, it won't. Not if you don't have a plan, not if you didn't have savings, not if you can't foresee the future. And if a financial crisis like what happened to us happens, you can't foresee variables that are going to hit you. So it's best to really try to work in the thing that you're super passionate about, and then try to figure out how to explode on your own from there.
Yeah, you know, that's one of the things I love about you. You're a trendsetter. You just create new things. In fact, in 2002, in Baltimore, you worked for the mayor, and they created a whole position just for you.
This is true.
Tell us about that.
Yeah, that's good research, man. You do your homework. I love it. I love it. I love it. I love it because I'm the one that's used to asking the questions and having to do that type of work. So I love it. Yeah, that was one of those pit stops in life where you get called to an action and you don't really know if you should take that opportunity or not. I know a lot of people that are probably watching or have been in this position where something kind of someone else or something else is pulling at you, and you're not actually going along with the flow. You're actually fighting the chi. You're actually going against it because of other reasons, maybe assumptions, maybe it just doesn't seem like that's the path you had already narrated to yourself that you wanted to take. So this opportunity comes up at the mayor's office, and you're right, they had created a position, and then I turned it down. Like, I'll never forget, like, a friend of mine saying to me, you don't turn down, like, this, it wasn't even the salary, it wasn't the money, but they were like, you don't turn down an opportunity to work with like a mayor that's on the move, that has momentum, that is doing some big things, and you can play a role in the whole technology. Like, they're giving you free reign. And that actually what the problem was. It was too much free reign. Like, they gave me a binder, and they were like, we had a committee and we had a board, and this is what they worked on this for 3 to 6 months, and this is what they came up with, and this is the plan. And they said that we needed to hire someone that could do this plan. Your name keeps coming up. You're on a short list, but everybody wants you to do this role, blah, blah. And I'm looking at this book, and I took it home on Friday, and I said, there's no way in hell I can get this done. Like, there's just, I need an army, I need a team. And it was a one-man position. So I didn't know what they were willing to do. So I turned it down. Monday, I called him and turned it down. And the deputy mayor calls me back. She's like, you can't turn down a mayor's, you can't do that. I'm like, why not? I'm working, I'm good, I got a check. So long story short, they did figure out some ways to really make sure that I had some resources to make it work. And then it was just one of those things of, do you do this knowing that it may sidetrack a little bit of where you're trying to ultimately go? Because this wasn't a media gig for me. This was a economic development gig. This was technology liaison between private business and the government, and trying to make sure that we had policies and things in place that would make it a better community for technology businesses to thrive and to employ more Baltimore citizens. And it was totally different than the path that I was on. And so I had to have a really hard talk with them about what my ultimate goals were and where I wanted to go, but that I would still be 100% committed to this job for at least 4 years. And I did that. I did it actually for 5, and then decided it was time. Actually, I was let go because the mayor went and became governor. Mayor O'Malley became governor of Maryland, and then the new mayor that came in didn't see my position as something that they needed, or they were going to fill it with their own people. So at that point, I got laid off, and I'm so glad I was hustling the whole time on my entrepreneurial path on the side, because now I could act. Now I had a reason to actually go into it full on.
See, this is what I love when people say it's an overnight success, and it's not. So you started in 1999. Now at 2006, I'm going to 2006 is when you finally launched and you incorporated Mario Armstrong Media. So that's when you finally really said, you know what, this is it. So tell us about that.
Yeah, it was like right at the end of, I think it was like the beginning of 07. We actually like did the paperwork, got things moving, and it was May of 07 when I got laid off. And I never forget like being called into the conference room and then being laid off. And I was like, it's all good. Like I was sad, but I was all happy at the same time, because what the people in the office didn't know is the previous 6 months before being let go, we had worked on a really long deal with AOL, and the AOL deal was worth $285,000. And basically we were going to do a video blog for AOL. So we were going to go inside of AOL with cameras and create a whole new video blog about the life inside of AOL. Like, what's it like to be a programmer, an employee, a marketing person? Like
it was ahead of its time.
It was ahead of its time because because blogging was just taking off, and video blogging was still like, no one was talking about it really. And we were trying to humanize a major corporation because a lot of people, they were losing, the retention rates of AOL was dropping. And so what I was trying to tell them is you need to communicate with people from a human to human perspective, what's going on. And internally, you have to show some of your own pain so that customers will actually root for you. Right now, you're just a big target, so they could just shoot at you and pick at you. But they don't realize that there are people that work here that have kids, that have families. Like, we need to humanize the AOL employee workforce and show their passion and their level of frustration. And they love the idea. So long story short, they loved it. We shot some pilots. They paid for all of that. And then we get set up for our company. And I remember getting the contract from them over fax. It was like 20 pages. We hire our attorney. We get our paperwork. We sign off. We send it to them. And then it's just like anything else in life that you feel like you got it. It's working. You put your proposal together, you put your pitch together. Someone told you on the other line, yeah, send it over. We're really interested. We definitely want to do this with you guys. And then you send your thing over to them, and then all of a sudden you get crickets. You're like, what happened to the interest? What happened to the hype? What happened? No one's responding. You're not getting phone calls back. Emails aren't getting responded. So then we finally talked to David, was his name at the time. We're on our way down to Dulles, Virginia, which is where AOL headquarters is. And we're in the car, and we get the news, because we thought we were on our way to a signing party. Like, when you do a contract over $250K at AOL in those days, they would do these signing parties. We thought we were on our way to a signing party. In fact, what we were on our way to was nowhere, because he basically said the contract's not happening.
Wow.
And the reason why is because the new CEO, Tim Armstrong, has put a freeze on any contracts. He just came in office. So it's logical for a CEO to be like, wait a minute, there's too much spending. We got to stop it. But we were a part. That's what I mean about variables and things that you cannot control. So, we pulled over on the side of the road and we're sitting here like, what do we do? Like, we were banking on that to launch Mario Armstrong Media. And I just remember like just being like paralyzed, like literally paralyzed. Like, because what I didn't tell you is I also had asked my wife to quit her job to run this company. So now you have the two income earners both working for a company that really just started. And we didn't have all of our eggs in one basket. Like, we weren't that naive. But the other stuff was like, small contract stuff. It was like very small compared to this thing. Right. And it was a shoe in. I mean, had it happened a week before, even 3 days before, it would have been fine.
So what happens? Then Nicole loses her job. Yeah. You guys pretty much, your dream got crushed, or you thought it got crushed at that precise moment. What happened at that precise moment? What thought process? What did you guys talk about? I mean,
your jaw just drops and it just hits the floor, and you're just like, you're sitting there in complete state of confusion. You're in a state of misunderstanding. And I just literally remember feeling like I just got the teeth just kicked out of me. Just all wind was just gone. Just all momentum is just.
Maybe thinking, I did something wrong. What could I have done?
You start.
We've gone through that too.
Yeah,
so
man.
Saying, what could I have done? I mean, maybe I did something.
Right. Maybe we should have acted on something sooner. Was it that one email that was it that one day when I decided not to hit them back that I should have hit them back, and maybe could have got a faster response? Like, you can allow that inner critic to really take over. And once that happens, once you're on that slippery slope, then everything, oh, well, you probably really aren't that good enough for this. Or you should have thought about all of this before you did. Oh, you did think about it? Well, obviously you didn't think about all of it. Like, you weren't that smart, were you? Like, you know what I mean? Like, you're just beating yourself up because you can't understand like what has really just transpired.
When that process happens, you kind of lose time. So, because you're like, got to get back on, but I was on it, and then boom, what do I do now? So you guys ended up losing everything? Is that what happened?
Yeah, I mean, essentially what happened is I had 6 months worth of savings from the job. So we ran through that, ran out of that. I mean, and it wasn't like we were still out living a lavish lifestyle or anything like that. Like, we had pulled back. We did have Christopher, who was 5 years old at the time. So we were raising our son. And it just got to the point where we cashed out of the 401k. Basically, we had to make a decision during this process. Are we entrepreneurs or not? Are we willing to fight for what we believe in, Or are we better as a people to work somewhere else? And that's okay. Like it doesn't make you bad or good on that answer. It was more about, who are you really? What do you think you're really capable of? And can you push yourself through this? Because if this is your lowest low and you can push yourself through this, you will probably never forget where this low was and what that feeling was and what that meant, that you will always push to strive harder and bigger. And also, by the way, understand other people's challenges that they may be facing, because their challenges could be 10 times harder than ours. I mean, there are people that are sleeping in cars. There are people that are divorced. There are people that have lost a whole lot more than what we lost. But for us, that was our lowest low.
Yeah, but your lowest low is a little worse than what you're saying. I mean, there's a note here that I have that says that, man, you were looking for coins. See, so you lost everything. And I really want you to emphasize that. I mean, even your state changed right now. Your whole physiology shifted in front of the camera.
Yeah,
you were looking for coins to get to your next gig. You know, so it's not like, oh, they still had a 401k and they had enough to get back on their feet. No. You guys, it got to the point that you lost everything.
I mean, you're right, man. I mean, you know, the credit cards were completely maxed. We were robbing Peter to pay Paul. Like, we were jumping from one card to another to try to like pay a bill off of another. It was the most stressful, the most. I mean, I went through a moment where I got like depressed, and I remember one time I can't remember why I was taking this medicine. There was something either with allergies or something. There was a reason I was taking this medicine. And I remember sitting in the parking lot of Starbucks. And I remember leaving the house and I told Nicole I was going to Starbucks. I didn't have money for coffee, but I was like, I'm going to Starbucks. And she's like, you're just going to work from there? I was like, yeah. I was like, I just need a break. I ended up sitting in the parking lot and just like cried and fell asleep in the car. Like, I literally I needed to get away from her because I didn't want her to see me in that state, because I was that fragile and just that broken. And I just remember just really feeling like sluggish and slow and depressed and sad. And then you would have these days where you would try to like break out of the shell and be like, this is the day we're going to make it happen. And you would have like maybe, 15 hours of like good mojo and good feeling. And then you would have like 3 days of just like pain and suffering and not enough money. And how are we going to eat? And her mother is buying our groceries. And when it got to a point where her mom was buying us groceries and I'm like going through, the change in the house to go to the Coinstar machine to actually get gas money so that I can go and drive to another appointment to try to make a couple of grand or a couple of hundred. That's when it was just like, I don't know if we're going to make it. Like, I mean, I'm like straight up emotional about it right now.
Why didn't you give up? Why didn't you give up at that precise moment?
I mean, let me show you, man. Let me show you. It's like, I had to take a picture. I actually had to, this moment was so rough for me that I actually took a picture of when I was at the Coinstar and then framed it. Like, I took a selfie of me at the Coinstar. And then this is where our bank account was. And you can see we had like 4 bank accounts. So we were doing okay from like a financial perspective before we decided to do this thing. But as you can see, none of those bank accounts could add up to what was in the negative, because we were just that flat ass broke, man.
So why didn't you give up there? Why was it that you said, no, this is it? Where was that turning point?
Man, small wins. There was no major breakthrough. There was no major moment. It was a series of small wins, and you just felt like if you could just keep getting a few more of those small wins, you could just keep moving forward. The one break that did happen was, at that time, a guy hired me to come and speak to an insurance group. And these were pretty much high net worth individuals. So I go and I speak, and they wanted to figure out how they could be more productive using technology, like what tools, apps, products, things out there they could use. So I did this whole presentation. They freaking loved it. I loved it. It was the most stressful presentation that I ever gave. And I gave a ton of presentations. I had nothing. You're supposed to be already making it. They're asking you to speak at their conference, right? Like, you're not then saying, well, can you pay my ticket? You know. So anyway, like in advance, like because they were like, we'll reimburse you, and I was like, why don't you guys just buy it? So anyway, I go to do this presentation, man, and I couldn't fall asleep. I was up till like 4 a.m. and I had to be up at 6. And the presentation, I just kept noodling with this presentation, and I just kept changing it. And I was like, oh my gosh, I got no sleep. I'm going to completely bomb. Well, it was nothing but pure adrenaline and God that gave me the power to kind of get on that stage and just kill it. And by the way, Tim Ferriss, who was like before the 4-hour work week dude, he like right before the 4-hour work week launched, he was there speaking. And so that once that happened, I had like 3 other people in that audience saying, hey, we'd like to hire you for our next conference. Wow. You know how conferences are. They can be a year out, or they can be, 3 months away, depending. So it was still like good money, and it was barely keeping us alive, but we were thankful that we had kept making us feel like if we just keep pushing, we'll be okay.
Then how did this part of your life, this drastic part that you ended up in a turning point, and then you went in and you did all these events and everything, how did you at 2011 get an Emmy? Explain that. See, because that means you never gave up.
No, it's true. It's true. It's like, you go back to 1999 or 98, right. And you look at it's 10 years now, and you like, now you have this Emmy. Like, okay, you look at Malcolm Gladwell and 10,000 Hours, or you look at all this stuff, the Tipping Point.
Right.
A younger generation these days. Being that that's their story, they don't understand that it takes 10 years or plus before you actually benefit from your experience and your hard work. Very rarely do you catch lightning in a bottle and explode.
Yeah, but most people that do get that lightning in the bottle and explode, they lose it overnight.
That's true, too.
In order to have it, it takes a process. I've been doing this for over 21 years.
Yeah, you have, man.
In my career, there was a handful of speakers. Now you turn on the internet, and there's just thousands of them.
Yep.
So at the end of the day, you got to just stick to it, and you got to stick to it, and you're going to see the greatest guys come in front of you. And
that's right.
Sometimes you'll see some people that there's a flash, and then they disappear. You never see them again.
And like in your case, you really honed in on the differentiator. You really honed in on, okay, this space is cluttered. The space has had these types of people for years.
Yes.
We've had motivational, inspirational, substantive people that actually deliver great messages, great meaning, great inspiration, and great substance for years. So how does one really define how they can actually do their thing just a little bit different, just a little bit more unique, just a little bit more true to their real self, their real purpose? And so for you to get into the science of it, the psychology, the physiology, the formulas that you put together and think through about not only like breakthroughs, but like being stuck and like really trying to come at it from a different angle, the make it happen is such a kind of standard thing that a lot of people say that to me, it doesn't do what you do enough justice. But I get why you use it. But I think like your thing is like, make it happen times TED Talks. Times, times.
Well, I don't want to remember, this is not my interview. I think.
No, I understand, but I'm just saying,
what happens to me is one of the things that we realized early in our career was someone came up to me and says, you have to digitize it. You have to do something that's different. We call it edutainment. It's education and entertainment put together.
Mm-hmm.
People are having fun, they actually learn. So
no, it's true.
Go back to the Emmy. How is it? Because I next time I see you, I want to touch the Emmy,
I'll bring it as close as I'll bring it as close to you as I can.
There you go. How did that feel?
This was
from looking for coins to getting that in your hands. How did that feel?
Man, when we found out that the show that I was involved in was actually nominated, I was like, this is just an unreal moment that we kept pushing, we kept trying. We would get knocked down, but we would get back up, and we always put out great work. Even when we were in our biggest pain, we would always work our hardest to put out great work and to always treat people with the utmost respect of how we would want to be treated. We never took shortcuts. We never tried to snake somebody out of a contract and get more, do less and get more from it. We never did any of that stuff. We like kept our ethics and kept our morals and our integrity in place. And that's why I feel more blessed than anything that we've been able to get this far, not selling out or letting the devil get to us in a short-term way, which could have happened so many times had we just taken one step in one direction one time because we really needed it. And so to be able to go up on the stage and hear your name get called, you know, amongst other nominees, I wrote a note. I put it in my coat pocket because I was like, I feel like I might actually win. You know, I'm a glass half full kind of guy, not half empty. And sure enough, I get up there and I didn't even read the note, man. It all just came from my heart. It all just poured out, and it was the best feeling ever. It was affirmation that, you know, I believe that humans in life want two things at its most basic level. One is acknowledgement, and not acknowledgement in a way that like builds, that's like for egotistical purposes. Acknowledgement in that someone actually recognizes your contribution to life, to
Right.
something, to raising your kids better than maybe how your parents raised you, to accomplishing a goal that was really, really important to you, to working your butt off at your day job, but no one tells you, thanks, you've been really picking up the slack since we lost so-and-so on the job. Like, people just want to be recognized for their own little greatness that they have in them. And then I think the second thing is people want to live a purposeful life. It's just, do they know how to get in line with what that purpose is? Have they been exposed to that as a kid? Do they know that they can actually live a lifestyle around their purpose and around their biggest passion and biggest interest? But I think people at the core want to be recognized for whatever they do, and that they want to also be living or working in what they are most excited about. So when this happened, it like confirmed both of those things. It was like the ultimate acknowledgement, like, yes, you are actually good. No, you're actually great. You actually won an Emmy. There's not a lot of people that you can probably look to that can say that I know of that have been a host and won an Emmy. There's very few people that I know.
Yeah, I gave you certainty. That's what you needed to make sure, again, that extra push.
Yep.
Honey, we made it this far. Now the next step is our own show.
Yes.
I'm going to get there. I'm going to get to that. You're a leader when it comes to technology and live streaming. You know, I remember I met you, I think it was an app called Social Cam.
Oh, yes, that's right, man. We hooked up on, that's right.
And you were one of the few people in Social Cam that had over 1 million subscribers.
Yeah, that's right.
And that's, again, ahead of its game. It was one of the things that when we would see you on the shows and stuff, you would use it as, you know, this is my credibility. You know, I have over 1 million viewers there. And it was big. No one else was doing it. So now this thing Periscope comes out, and today, right before the show, I saw you go live, but now I'm like, where do I go? I got Facebook, I got you're everywhere. So tell us about where's this live streaming thing going? Why do you use it so much?
Yeah, it's a great question, man, because you know, there's so much opportunity these days. I mean, look at how you presented how the two of us met initially and how we connected. It was all through social. And you hear about this all the time. And now, so what happens with live streaming, the ability to actually use your phone and be able to shoot video live from your device, it's doing a couple of things. Number one, it's giving you a chance to actually own your story. Like, for the first time, you can really take people into your world beyond pictures, beyond text, like really showing them and letting them hear and see you. Hearing and seeing is a really big deal because, as you know, from a psychological standpoint, and a physiology standpoint, you picked up on some of my nonverbal communication already. And so that is my hands just doing this and my shoulders just doing that. My eyebrows just shooting up. That's communicating something more than what words on paper and maybe a photograph can actually do. So now I'm actually getting to see more of you. What that does is it helps to advance the relationships. It helps to advance your understanding about another human being. When I see people that have seen me live streaming versus people that have seen me like on the Today Show, it's two totally different receptions. the people that see me on the Today Show, they're usually very reserved. Sometimes they don't even want to say anything. Like they feel like they may be bothering me or don't want to approach me, or don't want to over ask for a photo or whatever it is. And I just try to like diffuse it, because I'm just not that type of dude. Like I'm a person of the people, you know, not somebody that's like, you know, looked up to. I feel like I'm more like Muhammad Ali than I am like a Michael Jackson. You know what I mean? Like I love to be in with the people and doing stuff on the ground floor than it is to be like, put me in a limo or hide me from everybody. So it's different, because the relationships with live streaming are like, it's all group hugs. It's like high fives. Like the personal barriers are like, you know, totally removed. Like no one's even worried about personal space, because they know what type of person I already am if they've been going back and forth with us enough over live streaming. So number one, it enhances your relationships right away. That can help you in networking situations. That can help you get new clients, new opportunities for your business. So that's a big deal. Number two, you can own your own story now. So you can tell people what's going on in your world. What are the opportunities you see? What is the expertise that you actually have? What are the skills that you actually own and you can share? Now you have your own television platform to do that on. And then I think the other thing too is, you know, it's giving us a global perspective on what's happening in other people's lives. We now have a chance to actually see what's going on in somebody's stream in London, or what's happening in Hong Kong. And I have seen global connections through these apps start to take place, and now collaborations are starting to happen because of that.
Yeah, but see, also, Mario, you make it look easy. You know, I see you DJing, you have a bunch of props, then you'll have a show that's you and Shy, and you guys come in there, and you guys are great team together.
Yeah.
But you make it look easy. The average person that wants to go ahead and promote their business or themselves,
Yep.
What do they do?
This is I'm so glad this is spot on, because you're right. Not everybody can be. This is why there are going to always be more readers than writers, while there will always be more people in the audience watching you speak than speakers. And the same thing with content live streaming creators. There's going to be more people that will consume a live streaming video than they will create one. But here's the difference. Everyone has the opportunity. I think it's simple. I think it's two approaches. One, you start with a short little sheet of paper, like nothing bigger than this. Like sometimes this is exactly what I use, something this big, and it'll just have 3 bullet points. And that's it. That's all I'm gonna talk about are these 3 bullet points. And the first time you go on live stream, it should be about something you always like to talk about, something that you're knowledgeable in, love discussing, and just share 3 great points about it, just to get you over the hump of what did it feel like. If that doesn't feel natural or not so bad, if you still feel like I'm swimming with sharks, I can't do this at all, then the second opportunity for you is to find someone that's on your team that can be more comfortable. It doesn't have to be you that has to be on camera. You can find someone on your team that maybe they're more comfortable talking to a camera. Maybe they've grown up with that technology and they're used to that. The other thing is, you don't have to show your face. A lot of people think that in order to do live streaming, you have to show your face. You don't have to do that. You can point your phone at your website and walk me through it. You can walk me through your store without me ever seeing your face and show me some behind the scenes. You can show me somebody that's working on something. You could show me that you're making a recipe. Maybe you're a chef. I don't need to see your face. I just need to see the ingredients on the table and see the end result. So you don't have to. I know travel streamers, people that do travel streaming, they very rarely, if ever, show their face, but they're showing you places and they're talking about those places and informing you as a viewer.
Where can they learn some of these things at? Because you see, they can see your Periscope, they can join you on social media, but you know, there's this great place I want to talk about.
Yeah, man, the Never Settle Club is a beautiful place where you're right. These exchanges can take place and these things can happen. And it's a free community on Facebook. And it's a playground for adults trying to pursue their passion. It really is, in the most informative, entertaining, and educational way possible. There are no judgments cast on any member. It is a closed group, so that we do make sure that people that want to be in it really are requesting to be in the group. And we're all about being super positive in supporting each other's goals. So there'll be posts that other people put up, that I put up, things. Sometimes we're posting challenges. Sometimes we're just posting video tips and strategies. Other times members are just asking a question. Hey, I'm stuck on this particular, I want to do this passion project for my community. I'm stuck on this part of our phase. Has anyone had experience doing this, or does anyone have any ideas or suggestions? And the community just like comes in to like aid and send you on, push you on your way. So to me,
how do you get involved? What do you got to do to get involved?
All you got to do is go to Facebook. Just go to Facebook and just go type in the search hashtag Never Settle Club, just the hashtag Never Settle Club, and we'll join you right on in. Especially if you're coming right from here, we'll put you right through without a doubt.
You're gonna get an influx of people tomorrow.
That'll be great, man. No, this is like, you know, it takes, when people are hustling on their visions, on their plans, and on their dreams, you need to get off of the island of one. And what I found is that there are so many people that have really beautiful ideas, great passions, but they feel lonely. They feel like, I'm isolated. And if your spouse or your significant other isn't on board with what your dream is, that makes it even so much harder, because now within your own household, you're dealing with some energy that's going against where you're trying to go. And so we try to help you balance all that out and give you a community that's safe, that's trusting, and that has your best interest at heart. So we're building our own island of doers.
See, we're going to wrap up real soon, and I have so many other questions, man. So we're going to have to do part 2 of this, you know?
Wow, that'd be awesome.
Before we wrap up, there's a couple more questions I want to ask, but I want to tell all the viewers to get ready to ask the questions, because we do have a section where they're going to be able to talk to you live.
Awesome.
And it's cool because it's kind of what we're going to talk about next. My next question for you. So remember, if you guys want to go live, make sure that when you're asking the question, you put the word live in there. And then I'll make sure that Valerie has you set up so you guys can have your live questions. That's part of the benefits of being a member. Also, if you want to just say audio, that's fine. Then we will get those first too. Mm-hmm. But before we get there, I got like 3 more questions for you.
All right, go.
What is the Never Settle show?
Oh yeah, real quickly, the Never Settle show is so this is the culmination. If you go back from 1999 to now, so that's 17 years, right? This is really in earnest, I would say it probably started in 2007, 2008, this dream. And that was to really have our own talk show, like on a big stage, like Oprah Winfrey style type big stage. That's what we were like shooting for. Like, how can we not be the next Oprah, but how can we just like do the next type of talk show?
That type of production, high-end production. We know what you're talking about.
That's right. So that's what the Never Settle show is. So basically it's the first live crowd-produced talk show. What that means is we will be asking viewers to tell us what guests they want on the show, what topics, what questions, what entertainment do they want to see. Basically, they're telling us what's relevant to their lives, and then we put that together in a show and then do that show live for them. When we do that show live, it's with a studio audience of about 50 people in studio, but you'll be able to watch this online everywhere. Roku's, Apple TV, Facebook.com, Livestream.com, Never Settle, and a bunch of other sites that we're still lining up to carry the show. And the whole idea is that you'll be able to interact with the show in real time. So you'll be able to use Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, Instagram, Snapchat. Your face, your questions will be seen on the set. We'll have a huge wall of screens where people will be able to actually get, much like what you're kind of doing here, actually get access to your guest in real time so that they can get their questions answered so that it's the most relevant show for them. But
yeah, I'm excited about the show because, see, it's an idea that you can give to a lot of people, but not many people can do it because, number one, you need to have a host that has the experience to be able to not only do television, like you said, television is one thing, but doing live video feeds is something else.
Yeah, it's true.
Be able to play off of that and bounce back and forth. So I wouldn't be afraid to share this idea with the world because anyone can try to do it, but only those few can really make it happen.
That's a really good point.
I envision what you're doing with this. I mean, I'm excited about it, and I've been looking, I do find time for Mario, and and even my team watches you. You know, we love you. You know, the only thing I'm upset with is I got to get together with Christopher and Nicole. I'm waiting for that moment.
I know. It's like it's beyond me now.
But I'm her best friend, though. I'm her biggest fan on Instagram. You know, right? I was there when she broke her leg, and I saw her with all. You know, I was there. I was there, man.
Man, you guys have always been super duper. You guys have always been super duper, man. Seriously, you guys have really been the best. That's why I love what you're doing, and I love being a part of this, and now actually being in it and seeing it and feeling it. It's like I got more people over to your mastermind because you're pulling together great people with great insights, and I'm just honored to be here, man.
Yeah, thank you so much. Well, I got 2 more questions before we get into the questions. Number 1, you have a quote, which I love.
Yeah,
you see, you're trying to figure out all this stuff. I mean, we did our homework, man. You know, passion is underestimated. Tell me about that.
People underestimate the power that they have within. And look, I'm victim of it. What's today? Wednesday? Monday and Tuesday, I don't know what happened to me. Well, I do. I got tired. I got frustrated that things aren't moving fast enough. I got worried that now that the venue that we were hosting our show at was told to us we can no longer do our show at that venue after we've already signed a deal with this place. Now they have some changes that are happening to the building, and it's affecting all their projects, and we're one of those projects. We got 4.5, 5 months before a show is to kick off, and now we're out of a venue. And it's just I was in a slump, and people underestimate their own power. When the inner critic starts to get active in your minds, the way I can tell, I'm still working at this. I haven't perfected it, but the way I can tell is when I start hearing things to myself that I would never say to someone I love. Yeah. So if I hear something that says, Mario, you're not going to be able to do that, or you don't come from that background, what makes you think you're going to actually achieve that? Or you don't have the money to do what it is you really want to go do. You're not going to be able to do it. Like, would I say these things to somebody I love if they're really all in on something that they're super passionate about? No, I try to help them find solutions. So that lets me know that that's like the inner critic, the negative voice is trying to eat at me. And the minute you can have some self-awareness around that and realize that that's what's happening, it's easier for you to then shut it down. But even still, it took me 2 days to kind of get out of this slump. And I was aware of what was going on.
Some of the best advice I've heard in a long time. And I'm being honest. I mean, this is good stuff. This is real information. I mean, my last question for you is, where's Chris at? You know, I'm not talking about where he is physically. I'm talking about, you know, remember, you saw your father go through all these things.
Oh.
He's seen you go through these things too. So, and I've seen him online, man. He's a powerhouse. He's a good-looking kid, really good-looking kid. But you know, he's still going to school, ladies. So no, we're not
right.
But you know, he has this. He looks like he's in the right path because he's following what he sees. Because I truly believe that. I tell people, look, you know what? You can go on stage, talk all this beautiful stuff. I even tell people 98% of the speakers on stage today do not live the life that they say they live. And a lot of times what they do is they create a perception when in reality, like for me, you know, I can have a bigger studio. I can have, you know, you even asked me, Bert, how do you have so many people in your team? And you know,
I know.
It's called independently wealthy. I'm not the Mercedes or Ferrari type of guy. I'm more like the Harley guy. I'm more about the family. I'm more about the family. I'm more about, you know, being able to travel as a team. I'm probably one of the only speakers that go to a place with an entourage, and I see that in you. I see you and Shai traveling the world. I see Christopher being part of the videos.
Yes.
Your wife, Nicole backing you up in everything you do. That's one of the reasons that I really connected with you, because I can see that. So where is Christopher? Where's his mindset, seeing all these things that he's got?
Yeah, man, that is so, I mean, you're so on point on so many levels right now. Like, I know that family is so critical to you. You do everything with them. And you take them with you where other people would run to maybe get away from their family or take a break or see that as an opportunity for some personal time. It's like the exact opposite. You and I are the type of people that are like, if we can't share our experiences and we can't share our journey, what the heck is the purpose? Like, what are we doing it for?
That's right.
Like, I'm not doing it for an award for myself. I'm doing it for bigger reasons than that, bigger than me, bigger than even the family. right? Like you're doing it for other reasons. And so, you know, that is a super amazing, like, I'm going to borrow that question. That is so insightful that I'm like thrown off, because no one's ever asked that deep of a question.
And Mario is never thrown off.
So I'm usually ready. But I would have to say that I hope that what he's getting, and what I do feel that he's getting, is because at first he didn't understand. He's like, Mom and Dad are always home. Like, I don't know what they do. They don't go to a place called work. Exactly. Like, he's grown up with Mom and Dad being home. So a lot of times he had to be exposed to things that weren't traditional. I mean, were traditional, because we were living kind of a non-traditional life. And he needed to understand what work really means. What does it look like? How are we able to get to this point where we are now? And what does the struggle mean when we're operating off of one car that can really work well and the other one can't? And now that you see us having two cars, and you see yourself going to the school you wanted to go to, and you see your mom and dad still hustling, and they haven't hit that one of the main goals that they wanted to hit, but you see them still going at it. That the only thing I can say, man, that made me reflect on is there's a thing that I use in the shower. I get all my great ideas in the shower. I don't know if you're a shower idea guy, but I am.
But tell us about it, please.
So there's a thing called Aqua Notes. If any of you love to write, if any of you get great ideas and you're in the shower, you need to go and buy yourself Aqua Notes. I get nothing from them. This is not a commission deal or anything like that. They stick right on your shower wall, and they have a pencil that comes with it, and you can write. It can be drenched wet, and you can write on it, and then it's perforated, so you can tear it off, and then you can take it with you. Well, in the shower, I have like 4 of these, depending on what the goals are at the time, or depending on what thoughts I'm trying to remind myself of at the time. It's a self-reflection and things that kind of keep me going forward and keep me focused. And I never forget, Christopher took a shower in our shower one day several months ago, and he ends up, I didn't know this until I took a shower the next day, he ends up writing a note.
Wow.
He writes a note, and he was like, keep pushing on your dream, Dad. You're going to make it. And I feel it now. Like, I'm just about to like straight lose it right now. Just like start crying, because I'm like a sensitive dude like that. And that note, I didn't throw that note away. It's been still sitting in the shower, because it's just like, whew. If there's anybody that's got to be able to see Dad get kicked down and get back up, if there's anyone that's on this planet, it's got to be him. Like, it starts and ends, you know, or it starts. It may not end, but it starts with him.
See, I just love it. You know, we had this whole conversation. You had, you know, a plaque in one hand showing a picture of you. And by the way, you didn't look so good in that picture. And you know you always look good when you were like getting coins. And then you have the Emmy in the other hand. Next time we get together, you're going to have that little sticky note in a plaque. Because that's it. You're documenting your life. That's really what's important to me. Yeah. I want to leave a legacy, but not just for the world, for my family.
Right.
I came through, well, it's a whole thing. When you interview me on your show, then I'll
give you which will happen. I got to have you coming on my show and have somebody from the audience eat fire. Like, I got to do this. I got to do this.
It's a whole different level. And, you know, every top speaker in the world has either heard of me, we've either shared the stage.
Yeah.
However, I'm doing it for a whole different purpose.
Right.
I know what I'm doing it for.
Right.
I'm in a good place in my life. And this is why I connect. This is why I created this mastermind circle, because I've done this all over the world for years. But now, because of technology, we were able to create a program so that I can bring people. Like, I couldn't do this with you. I have to wait till I'm going through Baltimore or something.
Right. Physically hook up.
Now,
right.
You know, I can have this. I can edit it. I can go ahead and create a good product. You can show it off. You can show your son that they were all part of it. Your wife too, even though we weren't here. And you know, 5 years from now, you and I will be sitting in a different place and just remembering this moment. And the people that are listening and paying attention, the people that are part of the mastermind, you know, it's a different. It's not just when people tell me, "Well, I want to see you live." Yeah, it's you seeing me live. Right. However, I'm going to come in here and every other day. I mean, like one Wednesday, we come in every other week. 1 week, we have a person to come in and we interview them like this. Real interview, not the I don't want to sell books and all this, you know.
Right.
You want that, I'm going to go ahead and help you. Like, I'm going to promote your Never Settle Club because I became a part of it.
Right? Yeah, absolutely.
You know, so I believe it. I'm going to support it.
No.
But you know, I've been on these platforms. I don't want people to come in here and just
Right. Sell them stuff.
because their story is really going to help us. I want them to be ready that now they start following you. Next thing you know, you finally open up the show and you got a handful of people with little Make It Happen logos, and you know who they are.
That's right, man.
An army, man.
Hey, look.
So let's open up to the question.
I got mine. I don't know. Let me see it. I got mine right there.
Oh, yeah, you did. That's what I'm talking about.
See?
That's what I'm talking about. Screenshot that. I'm going to screenshot that and put it on my Instagram tomorrow.
I never showed that to you before either. I got you back.
That's what I'm talking about. That's real support. That's real love.
I'm saying that laptop goes everywhere with me, man.
Wow. Now when people ask you, now you know a little bit more about Bert. Now because when we've gotten together, it hasn't been about. I mean, the last time we were together is even in an episode. You ended up preaching a Christian biker group, you know, and talking to them how technology can. You got them on Periscope. You know, and we didn't even spend much time together because when we get together, we end up helping other people.
No, that's exactly because you guys started it. You guys started having a conversation with them about what their thing is, and next thing you know, you two were like hitting it off, and I'm like, "What's happening right now?" And then I insert myself into it, and you.
That was awesome.
It was the greatest thing. It was awesome. It was nice.
So I'm gonna open up the questions. I'm gonna get like 5 questions. I know we're running over the hour, but let's get the first person. Who do we have?
Chevy.
What's up, Mario? Chevy Gun here. How you?
Yo, Chevy.
How's it going, man?
Tell us where you're from.
I got mine too.
It's so good to see you, man.
It is good to see you. I have a question for you. I was on Periscope the other day, and it's the first time I even knew that you freaking DJ'd. And you, what the heck was that? Where did that come from? And is that going anywhere?
That's a great question. So music runs in my veins, man. It's just, you know, I went to college. I played a DJ through college. That's part of like one of the ways that I was like trying to be an entrepreneur through college years and try to make some money. So it's a thing that I always love to do, and I just love music.
You're good at it, man. You're good at it.
Man, I just have so much fun, man, and just seeing how it impacts others. Like I'll go on for hours just because it's helping people de-stress. Or it's maybe making them forget about a bad moment or a bad situation.
Yeah, it was awesome. I was like, heck yeah.
So I just do it for free and for fun. Although I have picked up like a couple of people are like, can you come and DJ my birthday party? Or can you?
Well, I was one of them. I think you almost had 2 million followers. You was second below Roxy on social account.
Yeah,
okay.
Man, Roxy,
and I've been following you since then. And I know Bert's going to promote your Never Settle Club or whatever club you're in. So I asked to join, and I'll promote you also. So I'm a big supporter.
Let me tell you, dude. Whenever I see your name show up, I always end up smiling. Like whenever it shows up, like in the like a Periscope or something like that, because you're true. You have always you're the type of guy, and we haven't physically met, but I can tell just by looking.
I feel like I know you though.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Like I feel like you're the committed friend. Like you're the committed person. Like if I ever did something that would disappoint Chevy Gun, that would really like hurt me. Because I feel like you're the type of person that really cares about people. And once you latch on to somebody that you kind of give a damn about, you like stick with them.
Yep.
That's the type of dude you are, and I respect that.
And I love your enthusiasm, love your story.
Thanks, brother.
And it's good to see you, brother.
It's good to see you too, man. I hope to learn more about you in the near future, man. It's really good to see your face. Now
I'm right there with Bert. You know me.
All right, buddy.
All right, buddy.
Love you, brother. Take care.
We have next.
Good gosh, man. That dude goes back. He's a real deal.
All right, what's your name?
Hello, my name is Andrew Ochan. I'm from Toronto, Canada.
What's up, brother? How are you, man?
Doing great, man. You look really young. I feel like we're the same age. Like, how old is this guy, man?
I got to keep him guessing, man. I got to keep him guessing.
Nice. I mean, just real quick, I mean, my question is, you know, like a lot of us out here, we have like passion. We have something within us that we really feel that this is for me. But like, you know, the journey is never really easy, like you said, you know, like you've been through a lot of struggle, you know, to just get where you want to be. And you mentioned that, you know, like there was times where you just kept that image in yourself and you just kept going, like, which I believe is just part of faith. What do you have to tell us about faith? You know, like,
Whew.
Yeah. Because,
Look,
you know,
the power of faith cannot be disputed. If and it doesn't matter what your spiritual center is. What does matter is that you have it and that you believe in it and that you surrender to it. It's very hard to do that. It's very hard to let go. It's very hard to believe that there is some bigger calling for you and that it's going to work itself out. And the truth of the matter is, it won't just work itself out. It's going to present options, decisions. You're going to have to react based off of certain philosophies and internal belief systems. And when you react based off of those things, coupled with your faith, you have to believe that it's going to navigate you eventually to where you would like to be. Here's the thing. I don't believe there's ever an end point. If you really do care about continuing to grow or continuing to serve, there's never really an end destination. You have goals that you want to hit along the way. And as you accomplish one, then you're on to another one. But the journey never really stops, because that's the whole purpose of life. And if we're supposed to fulfill our faith calling, we're supposed to be servants all the time to the end. And even at the end, we're actually still serving others when we're physically not here. So I think the power of faith is something that I've always believed in and had, but I also didn't always give it the most respect that I should. There were times in my life where I probably should have given it more respect. The power of the universe is real. What you put out there, who you surround yourself with, what you actually say you want to accomplish, what you actually visualize, visualization, what you actually visualize hoping to accomplish, and then the action that you take. If those things are aligned together and you're not just doing one or doing the others, then you will start to see how luck, and notice I do quotes, how luck begins to happen. Because that's what people say, oh, he got so lucky, or she got so lucky. No, they didn't. They believed in it. They asked for guidance and support with it. They visualized it, and then they would take steps, no matter how hard, how scared, or how fearful they were to take steps. They took steps, and because they took action, that created a reaction. And every time there's an action, there's a reaction. And so that continues to help you evolve. And so what a beautiful question, because between, it's really interesting that you brought this up, like, and I'm sorry, Bert, I'm just going to go on for just a quick more second here with Andrew.
I'm not in a rush, man. My team, but nobody here is going to leave. They love what you're saying.
Because here's the truth, man. I just got back from Atlanta, and Andrew brings up something that's, really sensitive to me, because I was afraid. I have been afraid because I didn't want people to think that I'm pushing something onto them. And I just recently realized, like I believe in God and I have my own faith and all of that in turn, I'm reading the daily word and all of that, but I never felt like I should publicly push that. And until just recently, I said, why not? Like, what are you worried about some backlash? Like, so what? Like, is it true to who you are? Then why are you holding back that which is true to you? And so I really appreciate, even see this as a, yes, Mario, you need to speak more about your faith and why, and how you rely on that in moments of despair and stress. And I just appreciate Andrew for asking the question, because, I know I can get excited and I can get animated, and I don't like preachers. I think that's my thing. I think that's my thing. Like, I don't.
Yeah, but you're not coming out that way. You're coming out. You can feel the vibe is different.
Well, that's good, because that's what means the most to me. And I don't want people to feel like it's being pushed on them. I want people to really know that that's really authentic to me. And so, Andrew, all I would say, my friend, is that's a very deep question, and I really, really appreciate that. And there's a slide that hopefully I can bring up that I will show you guys that will help you with understanding if you have a lot of ideas, how you can actually pick the right idea that you should move on first, and how faith, if you are true to your purpose and true to your passion and true to your service, and you can go through this formula that I'm going to give you, it will help guide you into that action and reaction that you need to have happen along with your faith. Yeah. So I hope that's a long answer, man, but I really just appreciate.
Thank you, man. That's great, because a lot of time we actually, you have something and you have that service you want to offer to the world, but because of the hardship that you go through, you get to a point and you're like, no, maybe this is not mine. Maybe I'm just doing the wrong thing, and you just fall back to the old pattern. And like the way you've been explaining a lot of like your journey, it looks like you believed in something, you visualized it, and you kept going. Like a lot of us out here, we just stop running. You reach a point where you just stop running and be like, no, maybe this is the end of the journey. Maybe this is where I gotta stop. And like,
Andrew, I totally get you, man. Here's the difference: as long as you are making the smallest bit of progress, do not change. You're being pushed to a point. Bert knows this. You're being pushed to a point on purpose, and the question is, are you willing to take on that next step? Because that's where so many other people end up giving up. So your belief system has to be strong. You have to surround yourself by supportive people that want to see you win. Find those people. Go to meetup.com. Find them. You said you're in Canada. Find a meetup in your area based around your interests. People don't use meetup.com, and it's the best social networking website that's underrated, because it will show you where physical meetups, where people are actually getting together, humans are actually connecting physically together around a common interest, and that will get you into more supportive circles.
Well, thank you, Andrew. Thank you
so much, Antonio.
I have two more people that I'm going to put up for questions, but before you do that, now, can you wait for a second?
Yeah.
Share with us the Mario's formula, please.
Oh, can you see? Yeah. So basically what this formula does is, all you have to do is you are going to create basically 5 columns. Really 4 columns is all you really need. The first one is ideas. So what you're going to do is you're going to list out all of your ideas that you have in your mind, because the problem is you probably have a lot of ideas, things you want to execute, goals, projects, things you want to go do. So you write those projects down or those ideas down. Then what you do in the next, right beside that, you say, what kind of resources are needed in order for me to pull that idea off? How much money? Do I need employees? Do I need insurance? Do I need certificates? Do I need certifications? Like, what do I need in order to actually pull that idea off from a resources perspective? Then you have to actually put down the market potential. What is the market potential of this idea? 1 being low, 5 being high. What's your passion rating for that idea? Are you super passionate about it, or just so-so kind of passionate about it? And then lastly, how easy is it for you to start? 1 being easy, 5 being hard. So if you were to look at this formula, which is what somebody did in the Never Settle Club, because she wanted to own a restaurant. That was her main goal in life. But as we started having her go down her ideas, we said, owning a restaurant is going to need a ton of resources, tons, marketing, all types of money. It's got high market potential. Sure, people love to eat at a restaurant. You're super passionate about it, but it's going to be very hard to start this. The start scale is at the top end. What about a food truck? Oh, well, that's a little bit less cost. That's a little bit less maintenance. Oh, well, what about a catering business? Oh, well, now I don't even have any upfront expense really, other than what I'm actually being paid to deliver. What about selling sauces? Oh, I can actually do that in my home, or go rent a kitchen, sell some sauces. And so when she did this, she realized that she should do selling sauces. She was very passionate about it. It was the easiest thing for her to do. And at the end of the day, she ended up getting her sauces into a nearby grocery store. That's her right there. That's the chef right there. Chef Chef Adjuana. She made it happen. She got her sauces into a grocery store. So it's just a.
No, wait. She's wearing a Never Settle shirt. That means that means that a lot of the ideas and stuff she got from that group, right?
That's true. That's true. A lot of testing, like when she had her labels, and she was like, "What do you guys think about these labels for the sauces?" The whole community would jump in. So she had a free testing group, if you will, a market focus group for her before she even had to launch.
Oh, that's great. Thank you for sharing that with us. Okay, so let's bring on 2 more questions, and then I have one thing at the end before we leave. I want to find out more about you, and and this is why I tell people, what is it that you survive off of? If you have a book, if you have, I want to know. But we'll put that at the end.
Okay.
2 more questions. Let's bring these 2 people in, and then go ahead. Who's the next person?
Is that Oliver from Social Cam?
Yes, that's Oliver from Social Cam, otherwise known as Family Man.
Yes. Good to see you.
So now I go by Coach Oliver, and my philosophy is teach him younger. What I do is basically is a little bit more than coaching basketball. I implement real life lesson skills, practical stuff while I'm coaching, before coaching and all that stuff. I set aside 15 minutes before the actual skills and drill starts. And this is age 4 to 12. Wow. And it's totally different from what everyone is doing, and all the parents are buying into it. So having said that, you said you went through a series of small wins, small gains to give you that momentum to continue to push on. Now, say your son was probably 12 or 13. I don't want to go too low. Say your son was 11, 12. Besides you, what did you believe and how did you believe? What can you give that small child advice on how to push forward?
I would say that we teach our kids only to be successful. We don't teach our kids how to fail successfully. And I think if we taught kids how to fail successfully, we would actually have more successful kids. But I get why we're in a society of wins versus losses. And I get why a lot of people are scared of failure. We need to give our kids more latitude to fall down, more room to make error, but teach them strategies and skills so that when they do, they're learning from it. You will talk to 1 million people, and if they're all successful, they will more than likely, 98%, if not all of them, will say failure is critical to their success.
It's funny because just a couple of days ago, I did a little live stream on Facebook. I'm talking about something came to me about fail and failure, and I have an acronym for it, and I say fail means finish all intelligent learning, because you're learning in the process. So you know what? Just so you know, I'm gonna get aqua notes. All ideas come from me in the shower, man. Me too, brother. Aqua notes. I'm gonna get those. You're gonna
love me for this. You're gonna love me.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Oliver.
Beautiful question, and congrats with what you're doing, man. We need people like you pushing and getting your gospel sent. So I'm so excited that a lot of programs are picking it up. And I'm really excited also that you understood where I was kind of going with that kind of almost backwards reverse engineering approach.
Yes.
How important it is to fail in order to succeed.
I got it.
Yeah, thank you, man. It's so good to see you. It's so good to actually talk. Like, I'm so used to seeing you on Social Cam from back in the day, but now we actually had a chance to talk. This is great.
Yes, thank you.
Okay, who's the last person we have?
I go back with Bert about 4 years. I'm just going to give you a little bit of history here. And I was, let's just say my vision lagged dormant for a little while. I think Bert would say that.
That's a nice way of putting it.
And then once I did get it, and I'm starting to put everything into motion, and I think that I hit it on full throttle, Mario, and Bert can correct me if I'm wrong. But my question for you is, how important do you think social media is to the success of making your vision become more of a reality?
Ooh, great question, Belinda. Really, this is probably going to help so many people too. Just the question is commonly thought of, but not always asked. Here's the thing about social media. It is unequivocally the biggest time suck ever. Ever.
Yes, it is.
So now that we've established that as a context, it is very critical for you to only identify with the technologies or the platforms that can have the biggest return for your valuable time. Because otherwise you will get frustrated, you'll get overwhelmed, you won't build audiences large enough or engaged enough because you'll be trying to do too many things. This is coming from someone that's doing Twitter, Periscope, Facebook, Snapchat, Facebook Live, and YouTube, and I'm probably missing something. So it's too many. LinkedIn, it's too many. So here's what you have to do. Too many people are chasing technology for tech's sake. So they jump on to whatever they think is hot or whatever they think is the latest thing or where they think a lot of people are going. What you have to do is go backwards. You have to actually understand, where is your audience? Is your audience Facebook people? Are they primarily Facebook users? Because if so, then that's where you need to be spending the lion's share of your social media time. Understanding the groups they're in, the posts that they like. I survey my audience probably twice a year. And I'll just send out a survey. If you have a Facebook presence or whatever your social media presence is now, I would do a very generic survey. I would say things like, what value do you expect from me? Or what do you think I could share that could be of value? What social media sites do you use daily? I would do a very basic 5-question survey to just give you a little bit more insight as to where your audience exists. You may already know that answer. And if you do, the idea is you have to double down on where the group is, not where you want them to go to or where you think they may be. I will say this, live video streaming, especially Periscope, if you get on there and start teaching and start doing things around your profession or around your skill set and put really nice titles so that people that have no clue who you are, just have interest in that title, will watch. If you do that consistently, you'll start off with just a couple of, 1 or 2 viewers, but then after a while, it'll grow. But to answer your question, social media is absolutely, in my opinion, very critical to the success of pursuing your dreams, your passions, because it is the best way for us to communicate what we are excited about, what we care most about, what we are passionate about. And nobody can understand that unless you're telling them. And social media has made it so easy for you to communicate your narrative, your story, your dream, your goals, your desires, your pain points, the things you want to solve. Social media has made that available. You just want to use social media to use that megaphone in a way that's going to reach the most important people that you can get to. And so you just have to define, where are they? And depending on your product too, like if your product is a photo-based product, then you probably would do really well on Instagram. But if your product is a service-based thing, then you probably would do well on Facebook or Twitter or live streaming. So the good news is you have a lot of options. The bad news is you have a lot of options. So you have to survey your audience to find out where they are and then just really bring value in social media to where they are. And then you can start to look at other platforms.
Okay. Thank you so very much.
Give a lot away.
I'm going to be joining
Good.
your hashtag never settle.
We will help you. We will
That's
absolutely
happened.
help you.
So look forward to it.
Thank you, Belinda. Okay, so before we leave, before we close this, give us your last feedback, your formula. What is it you're doing? How you help people? Do you coach people? Where do they contact you? I want to know it all, man.
So right now I'm not coaching, although I've thought about it and probably should. I mean, I do it through the club, but it's all free. At some point I'll probably start doing some webinars or something like that. Right now though, all we want to do is focus on delivering a talk show that can just change people's perspectives, how they see themselves as contributors and doers in the world, how there are tools and resources and access to things that they may not know about that could really be life-changing for them, or maybe for their kid, or for their home situation, and just create the most impactful talk show that we can. So what I would ask of any of the viewers today would be to just go to the, I haven't even, like, I'm quietly launching this. Like, you're like, I think the first public interview where I'm actually giving out this web address, and I can't.
I know. That's why I wanted to do it.
I can't. I don't know, and I'm not supposed to, but it's neversettle.tv. Neversettle.tv. Go to the site, read up about what it is we're trying to do in terms of the content that we're trying to bring to.
You're not trying, you're doing.
Yes,
you're doing. This is not trying. Right. Trying would be a thought process. You're actually taking action.
Yes, this is true. We're looking for people that are interested in this type of show to sign up on that email newsletter so that we can show that to potential sponsors, to networks, to distributors, to let people know that there is a body of people that are really interested in inspirational, motivational, substantive programming that can be fun and entertaining. That's why we call it a party with a purpose, because it's kind of like TED Talks with a little bit of like old school Oprah with like a lot of Mario, and just fun and entertainment and living life with the glass half full, not half empty.
That's going to be awesome. I'm excited. I've seen some of the videos of the actual, do you have the video there? Yeah. Can you put it on? Let's look at it.
Oh, you want to see? Yeah. You're too much, man. I love it. Yeah, I'll pull it up. Hold on.
Yeah. I mean, that intro is just off the chain. That was really good production.
Yeah, and you guys do a lot of video work, so you know what it takes, man.
That was nice.
You guys know what it takes. Yeah, I'll pull it up. Hit it full screen. Just you can watch a little bit of it. You don't have to watch the whole thing, but a little bit of it. Let me fast forward to, here we go.
Launching the Never Settle Show. It's a talk show that uses deep interviews and segments to help uncover the right ideas, the right tools, and the right steps for you to take to better your life. It's a show that has your back. It's about never giving up and never settling. Because we're broadcasting live on the internet, we're creating all kinds of new ways for the audience to interact live with the show. Traditional talk shows are one way. They dictate the content to you from the top down. You don't get a say in shaping that show. We aren't doing that. We're the exact opposite. We want your participation to be real. Your beautiful face will be all on our Instagram wall right on the set. Really cool, right? And unlike typical talk shows who just have their guests come on and talk about their latest book, what they're going to do this weekend, or their latest movie deal, big deal. Our guests are going to talk about their struggles, their challenges, and their practical tips to success. Some of these tips are going to be close to the vest. We're going to get them to reveal that. You can't find that on any other show. We're going to have a DJ, live entertainment, fun giveaways. What more do you want? It's a party with a purpose. I'm ready. Are you? Let's go.
That is awesome, man. That was really good
Thanks
stuff.
for letting me share that, brother. That's awesome.
I loved it when I saw it, because you were showing little pieces of it, and we got a glimpse of it. We're like, man, that's good production. A lot of money, a lot of planning, a lot of organization. We know. Remember this.
I know you know. You guys put out so much video. You guys are editing monsters. Like, you guys are amazing. Like, I can't even begin to understand your video archive and how you database it all. It's just like, I've seen how you turn something, how you turn stuff into magic. And I'm like, that dude's got systems. That's people need to understand systems are so important. Like, to have some kind of systems. You have systems, man, and I really respect it.
Thank you very much. Well, we've taken an hour and 40 minutes. Normally we do it an hour, but I want to do this again, especially once you get your show. I want to be able to interview you, be maybe the first interview you get on the web again.
Oh, that would be nice.
Let me tell you something.
And then have you on the show.
Let's do it. Man, I wish you much success. I even though I don't know Nicole, I'm dying to meet her. She's awesome. I know her through the internet, and Christopher and Shai. Your team is amazing. And wish you constant success, man. I want you to make it to the top. Like Zig Ziglar used to say, I'll see you at the top.
That's right.
Over the top, because, like the second book, we're going to do this, man. We're working on our own dreams. We can be compared to the rest, But what we're doing is totally different. It's different than everyone else is doing. I know this because I see it all the time, and I'm seeing what you're doing. This is one of the reasons I wanted to have you as an interview. But thank you so much, man. And to everyone, let's continue the conversation on Facebook group. Make sure to follow Mario Armstrong and all the stuff that we talked about. I'll give you some of the information in the Facebook group that we have for the members. My name is Bert Oliva. This is Mario Armstrong. Never Settle Club, or never settle. Yes. And make it happen.
And make it happen.
Love you, brother. Thank you so much, man.
I carry that's my armor right there. Everywhere I go, that's my energy source right there, man.
That's what we're talking about.
That's kryptonite right there to the haters. Anybody that's like got negative energy, they see that and they run away.
So, hey, man, thank you so much, and looking forward to connecting with you again live, actually.
Yeah, me too, Bert. Me too. It's been an honor, man. Thank you and your team so much for working with me to get on to the show, man. I really appreciate being here. It's been an honor and a pleasure.
Same here. Thank you so much.
Thanks, brother. See you soon.
Register online and join us today for all new live interviews and weekly topics only at themastermindcircle.com.